Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Randarika Devi Hari Randarika Devi Hari Gaura Hari Jaya Randarika Devi Hari Randarika Devi Hari Gaura Hari Jaya Radha Kund Bihari Radha Kund Bihari Radhe Jaya Radha Kund Bihari Radha Kund Bihari Radhe Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Balladeva Subhadra Mai Jaya Sudarshana Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev Jaya Gauramita 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 Jaya Gauramita Jaya Gauramita Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Shila Prabhupada ki jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Om Prabhu called me. Just check my Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki So we are reading from Canto 5, Chapter 18, The Residents of Jambu Dvipa offers a prayer, Shloka number 10. And the title of this canto is the creative impetus. Magarataraatmajavitta bandhushu Magarataraatmajavitta bandhushu Sango yadishat bhagavat priyeshu naham ये प्राणवृत्य परितुष्ट आत्मवान
परितुष्ट आत्मवान्
सिद्ध्यति अधुरान्न तथेन्द्रिय प्रियः
सिद्ध्यतीन्द्रान् तथेन्द्रिय प्रिय
मागारदारात्मजवित्तबन्धुषु
मागरदारात्मजवित्तबन्धुषु
सङ्गो यदि स्यात् भगवत्प्रियेषु नः
सङ्गो यदि स्यात् भगवत्प्रियेषु नः
ये प्राणवृत्य परितुष्ट आत्मवान्
ये प्राणवृत्य परितुष्ट आत्मवान्
सिद्ध्यति अधुरान्न तथेन्द्रिय प्रियः मागारदारात्मजवित्तबन्धुषु सङ्गो यदि स्यात् भगवत्प्रियेषु नः
सङ्गो यदि स्यात् भगवत्प्रियेषु नः
ये प्राणवृत्य परितुष्ट आत्मवान्
ये प्राणवृत्य परितुष्ट आत्मवान्
सिद्ध्यति अधुरान्न तथेन्द्रिय प्रियः
सिद्ध्यत्यधुरान्न तथेन्द्रिय प्रियः मागाधरात्मजा वित्तबन्धुष सङ्गो यदि स्यात् भगवत्प्रियेषु नः
सङ्गो यदि स्यात् भगवत्प्रियेषु नः
या प्राणवृत्तपरितुष्ट आत्मवान्
ये प्राणवृत्य परितुष्ट आत्मवान्
सिद्ध्यते अधुरान्न तथेन्द्रिय प्रियः
सिद्ध्यति अधुरान्न तथेन्द्रिय प्रियः Anybody else? Prabhu's? मदवित्तबन्धुषु सङ्गो यदि स्यात् भगवत्प्रियेषु नः ये प्राणवृत्या परितुष्ट आत्मवान् सिद्ध्यति अधुरान्न तथेन्द्रिय मागारदारात्मजवित्तबन्धुषु सङ्गो यदि स्यात् भगवत्प्रियेषु नः ये प्राणवृत्य परितुष्ट आत्मवान् सिद्ध्यति अधुरान्न तथेन्द्रिय प्रियः Any Mataji? मागारदारात्मजवित्तबन्धुषु सङ्गो यदि स्यात् भगवत्प्रियेषु नः ये प्राणवृत्य परितुष्ट आत्मवान् सिद्ध्यति अधुरान्न तथेन्द्रिय प्रियः Ma, word to word meaning follow. Not. Agar means house. Dar, wife. Atmaja, children. Vitta, bank balance. Bandhushu, among friends and relatives. Sangaha, association or attachment. Yadi, if. Sat, there must be. Bhagavat Priyeshu, among persons to whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very dear. Nah, of us. Yeah, anyone who. Prana Vrutya, by the bare necessities of life. Paritushtaha, satisfied. Atmavan, who has controlled his mind and realized his self. Siddhyati, become successful.
Adurat,
Very soon. Na, not. Tatha, so much. Indriya priya, a person attached to the sense gratification. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Please repeat only translation. My dear Lord, we pray that we may never feel attraction for the prison of family life consisting of home, wife, children, friends, bank balance, relatives, and so on. If we do have some attachment, let it be for the devotees, whose only dear friend is Lord Krishna. A person who is actually self-realized and who has controlled his mind is perfectly satisfied with the bare necessities of life. He does not try to gratify his senses. Such a person quickly advances in Krishna consciousness, whereas others who are too attached find advancement very difficult. Is it visible?
Yes. Only side part is black.
My dear, I think that is going out. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is no purport. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was requested to a Krishna conscious person. He immediately said, Asat Sangha Tyaga, Yehi Vaishnava Achar. The first business of a Vaishnava is to give up the association of persons who are not devotees of Krishna and who are too attached to the material things, wife, children, bank balance, and so on. Prahlad Maharaj also prays to the personality of Godhead that he may avoid the association of non-devotees attached to the materialistic way of life. If he must be attached to someone, he prays to be attached only to a devotee. A devotee is not interested in unnecessarily increasing the demands of the senses for gratification. Of course, as long as one is in this material world, one must have material body and it must be maintained for executing devotional service. The body can be maintained very easily by eating Krishna Prasad. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 9.26, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yume Bhaktya Prayaschati Tadaham Bhakti Upavrutam Ashnami Prayatatmanam. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. Why should the menu be unnecessarily increased for the satisfaction of the tongue? Question mark. Devotees should eat as simple as possible. Otherwise, attachment for material things will gradually increase, and the senses being very strong will soon require more and more material enjoyment. Then the real business of life, which is to advance in Krishna consciousness, will stop. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yenam Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancham Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathavitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitancham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे करोति वाचनं कंदं लङ्घयति गिरियत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनमतारम् हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. My dear Lord, we pray that we never feel attraction for the prison of family life consisting of home, wife, children, friends, bank balance with the relatives, bandhus, and so on. If we do have some attachment, let it be for devotees whose only dear friend is Krishna. A person who is actually self-realized and who has controlled his mind is perfectly satisfied with the bare necessities of life. He does not try to gratify his senses. Such a person quickly advances in Krishna consciousness, whereas others who are too attached to material things find advancement very difficult. So, we are reading from Canto 5, chapter number 18, which is the prayers, the residents of the Jambudvipa offer prayers, and sloka number 10. The fifth canto is called as the creative impetus. The creative impetus. And in that, this 18th chapter is the residents of Jambudvipa offers prayer. Now, what is Jambudvipa? What is the Bhumandal? So, we'll discuss that. But before that, I was just thinking that we'll give a quick background of where it actually started about this whole discussion. So, if we see Canto 1 and Canto 2, specifically Canto 1, about the different personalities are there mentioned in the Canto 1. Specifically, what are the different personalities mentioned? So, where does the Canto 1 begins?
It begins with the prayer.
The sages of Sutta Goswami, sages of Naimisharanya asking questions to the Sutta Goswami. And then after that, it talks about the Bhagavatam, it talks about Narad Muni, Vyasadev, and then Parikshit Maharaj, Uttara, then many things, and then finally all the 6 questions. And then second canto begins with answering some of the questions, and then finally only at the beginning of the second canto where Sukadeva Goswami begins to discussion. And then immediately Parikshit Maharaj asks the question about what is the creation, what is the primary creation, what is the secondary creation, many questions that he asks, and Sukadeva Goswami answers that. And at the end of the second canto, where the third chapter begins, then the sages of Naimisharanya ask, can you please tell me about Vidur? Because in the first canto, there was a very quick description about Vidura. And then Sutta Goswami and in turn Sukadeva Goswami talks about Samvad, the discussion between Vidur and Maitreya. So Vidur first meets to Uddhav, and then after that Uddhav says that you please go and take guidance from Maitreya. And from there the discussion begins. So this Samvad is Maitreya Vidur Samvad, and then there is a Sarga Visarga. So what is the Sarga and Visarga? Sarga is?
Swarga Visarga is Vaikuntha.
Sarga, not Swarga, Sarga. Srimad Bhagavatam talks about the 10 topics. Anybody knows those 10 topics? If you see the whole Bhagavatam, there are theme, the 10 topics. Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Poshanam, then Mukti, and then finally the first topic is Sarga. Sarga means primary. Sorry, Mataji. The primary creation. Yes, Prabhu. This is Sarga Visarga is about material world.
I mean basic fundamentals, earth, water.
the creation of those elements done by Lord Sri Krishna. So all these primary elements are created by Lord Sri Krishna, and on that, for example, we have sand, elements already there. So similarly, the elements are already created by Lord Sri Krishna, and then the first engineer of this universe, who is the Brahmadev, and Brahmadev creates the creation that is called as a Visarga, secondary creation. So that is the Sarga and Visarga. And then in between there is a discussion about the Lord Varadev. And then finally, third canto, 21st chapter, the first sloka, Vidura is asking, can you please explain me about the Swayambhu Manu's dynasty? So, and then immediately Swayambhu Manu has how many daughters and how many sons?
5, 2 sons, 3 daughters.
Perfect. 3 daughters and 2 sons. And what? Who are those 3 daughters? Devahuti, Prasuti, Akuti. And then 2 sons? Uttanapad, Priyavrat. So then immediately in the third canto, Sukadeva Goswami begins the discussion of the first daughter, which is, who is the first daughter? Devahuti, and her marriage with Kardama Muni, and their son, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Kapiladev. So that goes almost third canto of complete 21st, 23rd until 33rd chapter, and then fourth canto also it begins. And in the fourth canto, it begins from there. And then Sukadeva Goswami continues with the Akuti and Ruchi, Akuti and her son Ruchi, and Prasuti and Prajapati Daksh. And then what happens in Prajapati Daksh? Any pastime that you remember? Yes, beheading of Daksha. Then Brahma's prayer to Lord Shiva. And then after that comes the 2 sons. The first son is Uttanapad, and from Suruchi and Suniti he has 2 sons. So what is that 2 sons' name? Dhruva Maharaj and Uttama. And then Dhruva Maharaj pastimes begins in the 4th canto. Then after Dhruva Maharaj, the whole pastimes after that is done. Then it goes to, after a few generations down the line, there is a king called as Anga. Then from Anga comes Vena, from Vena comes Prithu Maharaj. And Prithu Maharaj, beautiful prayers. He does the 100 of sacrifice and 99 at time, and Indra comes and he steals his horse. And then that the whole things comes unto the 4th canto. So in the 4th canto, 3 daughters and 1 son is already described. And then in 5th canto of the beginning, Sukadeva Goswami begins about the 2nd son. And who is the 2nd son? Priyavrat, and his wife is Barishmati. And from the 5th canto, chapter number 1, Sukadeva Goswami begins the Priyavrat dynasty. And what are the Priyavrat dynasty? The first, so Priyavrat is, so what happened? Priyavrat Maharaj, he initially said that he is going to forest. He left everything, he went to the forest. However, if you see Uttanapad dynasty, it comes up to Vena, Anga, Vena and Prithu Maharaj, and again down the line to the Prachetas. And the Prachetas said that we are not going to rule that things. Now there is no one to rule. So then Swayambhu Manu requested Priyavrata, please come and start ruling the earth again. And meanwhile Brahma also came and he requested. Then Priyavrata came and he got married, and then he had the first son, Agnidra. What was his first name? And that first son, Agnidra, who ruled Jambu Dvipa. Now there is the question, so what is Jambu Dvipa? And that is where I thought we will discuss more about that. And he got 9 sons, and those 9 sons became the rulers of the 9 Varsha of Jambu Dvipa. And then the first son of Agnidra, his name was Navi, and who ruled the Bharat Varsha, and by performing sacrifice, he got a son who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his name is Rishabhadev. And Rishabhadev, he got how many sons? Rishabhadev got 100 sons, and the 9s were Navayogendras, the 9s were Paramahamsas, 9, 9, 18, 10 actually, 10, 9 plus 10, and 81s were the Brahmanas. or Kshatriyas rather. And then the first son of Rishabhadev was the Bharat Maharaj. And the pastimes again begins about the Bharat Maharaj. So Bharat Maharaj became deer, and from deer he became Jad Bharat, and then he gives instruction to King Rahugana, and that all finished until 15th chapter or 16th chapter. And suddenly Parikshit Maharaj is asking, you told me in the beginning of the 5th canto that Priyavrata Maharaj divided this Bhumandala into 7 oceans. Can you please explain me? And today we are going to explain more about that. Until this is clear, 3rd canto, 4th canto and 5th canto talking about the dynasties of Swayambhu Manu and his wife. What is his wife's name? Shatrupa, right? So 3rd canto talks about whom? Devhuti and Kardama Muni, and then the Supreme Personality of Godhead Kapila Dev. 4th canto, the 2 daughters, and then the first son Uttanapad, Dhruva Maharaj to Anga, Vena, Pruthu Maharaj. Down the line Prachetas, they said that we are not going to rule because they went and did tapascharya, and finally Priyavrata Maharaj has to come into action. Then he got married, then he got Agnidhra to Navi to Rishabhadev, Rishabh to Bharat Maharaj, and from Bharat Maharaj this Bharat Varsha called as Bharat, and from Bharat Maharaj he became a Jad Bharat. And that is so from the 16th chapter, so this all happens up to 15th chapter where Jad Bharat and all Rahugana discussion ends. From the 16th chapter, Parikshit Maharaj is saying that, oh my dear Lord, the rolling of the Maharaj Parivat chariot created the 7 ditches or trough in which the 7 ocean comes into. Can you please tell me? I want to know more detail about that, which will kindly fulfill my desire. Now the question will come. Now he is going to touch very technical topic, and sometimes when we discuss about this technical topic, we find it very difficult to understand. So the question comes, why we should hear or why we should discuss about such a technical, very complicated topics? Why should we discuss? Why should we discuss about this Bhumandala, Jambu Dvipa, 9 Khandas?
To see the vastness.
To see the vastness. And because when we see the vastness, then
Our ego becomes smaller.
how is a tiny, insignificant fellow? We imagine that, okay, it's like the whole creation is the sack full of mustard seeds, and we are one tiny among that seeds. Okay, very good. The vastness of the ocean. You will see this Brahmanda, the diameter of the Brahmanda is 500 million yojana. How much? And 1 yojana equal to 8 miles. That means the diameter of this Brahmanda is 4,000 miles. Right? 4,000 miles. Millions, not miles, millions. 4,000 millions mile. And multiply by 1.67, that convert into kilometers. 4,000 into 1.67 kilometers, million kilometers. That is the vastness of this Brahmanda. And this is only one universe. And there are unlimited universe. And the whole creation, this material creation, is only 1/4 of the Lord Vishnu's creation. And then there is a 3/4 is the spiritual world. Once Prabhupada was asked in New York, Swamiji, how can we feel that I am a very tiny, insignificant? And then Prabhupada started discussing about this. You know, Lord Krishna created the whole things. Am sarvasya prabho matta sarva pravartate. 3/4 is the spiritual creation. 1/4 is the material creation. In that 1/4 creation, from Lord Vishnu's body comes unlimited universe. When he breathes in, all the universes got in. When he breathes out, all the universes are going out or coming into existence. And there are unlimited universes in that one padam, 1/4 of the creation. And one universe is what we are saying. In that one universe, there are 14 planetary systems. Among that, one planet is this. There are many khandas are there. One is the there are 7 continents. One of the continent is North America. In that North America, there are many countries. One of the countries is called United States of America. In that there are 50 states. And in that 50 states, one state is called as New York. In that New York state, there are many cities. One of the cities is called New York City. And in New York City, there are many suburbs. And one of the suburbs where we are, and in that one of the suburbs, there is a one road called 22nd Avenue. On that, there are many buildings, and one of the building is our building. And in that many buildings, there are many people, and there is one person called so and so. And you say that, how can I become a humble and insignificant? So Prabhupada used this 2 times. Prabhupada was asked the same question, how can I think myself tiny and insignificant? So the answer to question that Prabhu had given, that the vastness of this ocean, this Brahmanda, and then within that we are tiny, and if something happens and I think that I am the creator and the whole world is running behind because of me, we are nowhere. What are the other reasons? Yes, Prabhu.
A simple reason is this is spoken by Sukadeva Goswami, and it's in Srimad Bhagavatam, and our mind should not speculate by choices that this is big, small. It's that it's a mantra is followed, and you should just listen to that, no matter what.
Wonderful. So because it has been discussed by Sukadeva Goswami, and Sukadeva Goswami is not an ordinary personality. So 2 things, 2 points. One is because it has been discussed by Sukadeva Goswami, and we are follower of Sukadeva Goswami, we must study. And the third thing is that not to give any room for extrapolation or speculation, because today artificial intelligence can even give what could be the outside of this world. So no room for that. So it is very particularly coming in a way, Guru Parampara, systematically, so no room and opportunity for that. Good points. What is the, yes, Prabhu?
So, creation is so complex, so there must be some intelligent brain behind the complex creation, so the Supreme Lord must be very, very intelligent.
Wonderful. When Prabhupada says that, people say that, oh, God is great, but how great is that? We can understand this vastly creation, because if there is a creation, there must be creator. So this also helps us to understand the existence of God. And if there is a laws, there must be lawmaker. And again, the Sukadeva Goswami, it is mentioned here, Parikshit Maharaj said that, because when we hear about that, we will come to the mode of goodness. And from mode of goodness, we will actually transcend and try to go to the spiritual world. So this is one of the reasons Sukadeva Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj said that, please tell me in detail about these things. And then Sukadeva Goswami says that, yes, I will tell you in detail, but please be informed, the note is that no one can possibly understand detail about this whole creation. And that is what it begins. So we'll begin to touch this, what is the Jambu Dvipa, because this today is the prayers offered by the residents of Jambu Dvipa. Now, what is a Jambu Dvipa and who are the residents of that? We will try to understand that. Ready? Now, this whole Brahmanda is like a universal egg shell, which is this Brahmanda is 500 million. So that means 50 crore yojanas in diameter, which is equivalent to 660 crore kilometer. It is the diameter of these things. So it has been envisioned that this whole Brahmanda is like ocean. The whole it is like the lotus, and the lotus coming from the lake. The lake is compared to the Garbhodakshaya ocean. The half of this Brahmanda is filled with the Garbhodakshaya ocean. And the leaf, the lotus, you see the right side, there is actual leaf of the actual image of the lotus. So the lotus leaf is compared to the Bhumandala, and the stem and the flower is compared to the 14 planetary system. So the Garbhodakshaya ocean, then the leaf, which is the Bhumandala, and the stem and the flower is compared to the 14 planetary system. So today, now where we are staying, this planetary system known as the Bhumandala, and this Bhumandala, you can see, is compared to the lotus leaf. On that leaf, there is a stem, and from that stem, there is a flower, and that flower is actually resembles to the 14 planetary system. So from the 5th canto till end of 16, 17, 18, Sukadeva Goswami talks about this horizontal structure of the universe, which we are going to discuss that. So now we are talking about the leaf. What we are talking about now? Leaf. That is the Bhumandala. So this Bhumandala, so the Priyavrat Maharaj was actually having a chariot, and he was going along with the sun, and having the pradakshina to the whole Bhumandala. And every time that he was going, because of his movements of his chariot, because his chariot has a one wheel, and because of the chariot of the wheel, that was creating a valley or a what you call as a trough. So if you say that, you see in the image, there is a Gomata is there, and she is drinking the water, right? The feeding water. So there is a mountain both sides, and there is a valley there. So when the Priyavrat Maharaj was going along with the sun on his chariot, because of his chariot wheel, it was creating a valley. Are you able to understand or no? Yes, bro.
He's going around the
Bhumandala.
around means what? Round, there's a circumference or
Yeah, circumference along the Bhumandala, and that will come in between. So along with that, so if we see, I mean, there is a parikrama that is in when you go to the vertical Sumer mountain, which is the axis. Then there is a Dhruva, and then there is one other axis, and then horizontal axis, and then the Surya Dev is actually rotating about that. So today we are just understanding that Priyavrat Maharaj was going on the Bhumandala, and every time he was going, his wheel was creating a valley or trough called as a ocean. And every time he was going, the next time the wheel was wider, and the size of the ocean was becoming the double of the previous time. So the first cycle, there was a small valley. Second cycle, the valley became 2 times of that. The third time it became the further 2 times of the second, and like this he went all around 7 cycles. How many times? 7. And that 7 cycles created 7 valleys, and that 7 valleys created 7 oceans, and that 7 oceans created, because there is ocean and there is a valley, 7 oceans also created 7 islands, and that 7 island in Sanskrit called as Dvipa.
So one question, Prabhu. When we say 14 planetary system, in that only the Bhu also comes.
The Bhumandala is the, yes, the 14 planetary system is the earthly planet, is one of the planet, is the middle
But
planetary.
when you go to previous slide, it says that this the leaf is the Bhumandala, and
Yes.
14 is the stem plus leaves.
So there's a 7 planetary, so you can say upper planetary system.
Below also
And down also. So below the Bhumandala, there are the 7 planets, Atala, Vitala, Patala, Sutala. So, and below that, there is a 28 hellish planet, below that.
Okay. So, I mean, the stem inside the water, that is downside planet.
Yes.
That is how we should understand.
Yes, right. So, so there are 7 planets below the Bhumandala,
Now it is
6 above that, and the middle is the middle, which is the Bhumandala. So you can see here, every time when the Priyavrat Maharaj was going around, that the first cycle was creating the small ocean, the second was creating the double of that, the third was creating double of that, double of that, double of that, and finally it created the 7 oceans. And the 7 ocean also means there is a boundary, and it created the 7 islands or Dvipa. And this is also can be envisioned that you see the last ocean is bigger, then behind that is the Pushkara Dvipa. So there is ocean, there is a Dvipa, 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 and it is considered that leaf as a circular, and it can be again envisioned as the flower, and the middle of that is the Jambu Dvipa, and around that there are 7 oceans and the 7 islands. Okay, so here is the some better picture. So the whole leaf, Bhumandala, are you able to follow? So the Bhumandala, the middle and the smallest Dvipa is called as Jambu Dvipa. Around the Jambu Dvipa, the first ocean is called as the salt water, and the size of that is X. And what is that X? which is a 0.1 million yojana. 1.1 million yojana means 1 lakh yojana. And 1 lakh yojana means 8 lakh miles, and then multiply by 1.7. So that is the size of Jambu Dvipa. The Jambu Dvipa is the inner of the Bhumandala, which is the smallest of all the Dvipa. Is it clear so far? It created the
Central one is Jammu Dvipa, right?
central one is a Jambu Dvipa. You consider this Bhumandala is a circular one. The middle circle is the smallest circle, which is the size of 1 million yojana. 0.1 rather, which is 1 lakh. 1 lakh. Is it clear?
Just for newcomers. So sometimes Bhumandal is thought as Earth.
Earth is just a smaller fraction of that.
Because Bhumandal, so we should not thinking that way. This is a very wider spectrum as you're saying.
Okay, so what we are seeing today, this Bhumandal is just a small fraction of, and the Earth is a small fraction of that. If you see on the earthly planet, the farthest distance between 2 points, if you take any 2 points on this, if you open the map, is around 20,000 kilometers, max distance, 20,000 kilometers, around 12,000 miles. We are talking about 1 lakh yojana, 8 lakh miles, multiplied by 1.67 kilometers. So this, whatever we are seeing, it is only small fraction of that, the earthly planet, what we are seeing. So the inner portion of this Bhumandala, the inner portion of Bhumandala, the first Dvipa is called as Jambu Dvipa, which is surrounded by the salt ocean, which the size of both are XX, and the XX is
1 lakh yojana.
1 lakh yojana. And then the next Dvipa is a Plaksha Dvipa, which size is a double of the X, and around that is a sugarcane juice. So those who are interested to take a sugarcane juice, we can go to this Plaksha Dvipa and dive into that ocean and can take the sugarcane from morning till evening. And the size is, that means
2 lakh yojana.
2 lakh yojana, 16,000 lakh mile multiplied by 1.67 kilometers. And Plaksha Dvipa, that is the second one. And the third one is Shamali Dvipa, which is a, how many yojanas?
4x.
4 lakh. 4 lakh yojana, 32 lakh miles, and then multiply 1.6. Somebody remembers Shamali Dvipa? When we are talking about Giriraj, and then from the Garga Samhita, there is a descriptions of Shamali Dvipa. So, one sage go to the Shamali Dvipa, and then there is this mountain, and then he requests to the, can you come with me? And that Dvipa is the Shamali Dvipa, and that is the Pulasya Muni. The Pulasya Muni goes to the Shamali Dvipa, which is the 4 times of that. And the next is the Kusha Dvipa, then Krauncha Dvipa, then Shaka Dvipa, and Pushkara Dvipa. The final Pushkara Dvipa is the largest one, and what is the size of that? 64 lakh yojana, and then multiply by 8 and 1.5. And it is surrounded by sweet drinking water. Is it clear so far? Yes, bro.
So they all look okay. I was thinking, why liquor?
Sukadeva Goswami,
Liquor is
and
supposed to be.
see, that liquor may not be the liquor what we are actually seeing, because even our Balramji also take what is it called? But that is spiritual one. And even this, even within these things, there are something. Now when we come to these 9 khandas of Jambu Dvipa, we are not able to see the other things, because which is beyond the subtle, which is very subtle. So this liquor is not exactly the same what we will be calling this as a liquor, because it's beyond our perception. We are not able to even see. So of course, if somebody says that I wanted to taste that, you have to go there. First of all, we have to be qualified to go there. And then once we are qualified, then we can actually go and taste that liquor.
This liquor is a perverted form.
Absolutely, probably even the more perverted of that liquor.
What is Sanskrit name of these oceans? Like sea of salt, sea of sugar.
It is there actually. I didn't put that, but there's a different names are there in Sanskrit. Probably I can
It
put
would
that.
be good to put there.
Yes, bro. That's a good point. So, Bhumandala, 7 oceans and 7 dvipas, and the innermost is the Jambu Dvipa, and that Jambu Dvipa is what we are referring here. Is it clear so far? Now we'll go further. Now how this Jambu Dvipa is divided into 9 things. Okay, and then so this Jambu Dvipa, all these Dvipas are ruled by the 7 sons of Privat Maharaj and Agnidra, and then all these 7. Nabi is the son of Agnidra. He will rule the Jambu Dvipa. In Jambu Dvipa there are 9 islands. So you can see here the innermost is the Jambu Dvipa, Jambu Dvipa, the smallest, and the Pushkar Dvipa is the biggest, and surrounded by the sweet drinking water, which is the 7th ocean. So these are the different images from the internet. Just to give the same thing, Pushkar Dvipa, ghee, sugar cane, Plaksha Dvipa. I thought there is a name here. No, it is not there. What is?
Sanskrit name.
Yeah. Now, from the Bhumandala, now we'll come to the Jambu Dvipa. Jambu Dvipa is where we are part of that. Is it clear or no? Bhumandala into 7 Dvipas. The innermost Dvipa is Jambu Dvipa, and in that Jambu Dvipa, now we are discussing about Jambu Dvipa. In the middle of the Jambu Dvipa, there is a mountain called as Sumeru mountain, and this Sumeru mountain is a 16,000 yojana down of the Bhumandala, 84,000 above the Bhumandala, and that is the center of this Jambu Dvipa. Is it clear? And this Jambu Dvipa itself is, as we discussed, is a 1 lakh yojana wide, and it is circular. Again, you can consider this Jambu Dvipa like a lotus leaf. Middle of the Jambu Dvipa is a Sumera mountain, and this Sumera mountain is made of gold. And if those are interested too much of gold, we can attempt to go to this Sumera mountain, and we will not, but it is not visible to all of us.
This is like a stem, prabhuji, and he calls.
Yes, it's a mountain which is 16,000 wide, 1 lakh again yojana. These are yojanas. 1 lakh yojana in height. 84 above Bhumandala, 84,000, 16,000 below the Bhumandala. Oh, today we have from Antariksha, ma'am, and she will. So what we see science, and this could be little, but we will discuss that. But that is a vertical things. What we discuss about the, sometimes we'll discuss about the vertical discussion about this the creation. So now we are talking about Jambu Dvipa. Jambu Dvipa, middle of the Jambu Dvipa. So the Jambu Dvipa is also divided into 9 khandas. How many khandas?
9 khandas.
And how they are divided? They are there's a border of mountains, and each of them is mountains, and there is a rivers, each one of them. The middle of Jambu Dvipa. Jambu Dvipa is the middle of the Bhumandala, and the middle of Jambu Dvipa, the middle of that is Ilavrata Varsha. It is also called, what is Varsha means? What is Varsha? Bharat Varsha, Ilavrata Varsha is a tract of land between the 2 mountains. So this Jambu Dvipa is also divided by a range of mountains, and the middle of that is Ilavrata, and the core of that is Sumera mountain, and east of that is the Gandhamandana mountain, and which created Bhadrashva Varsha. So there are how many Varshas? 9 Varshas. The middle is Ilavrata Varsha. The east of that, there is a mountain who divides between the Ilavrat Varsha and Bhadrashva Varsha, called as Gandhamandan mountain. The south of Ilavrat Varsha is called as Nishad mountain, which creates the Hari Varsha, and that is where Prahlad Maharaj resides, and he prays to Narsimhadev, and that is the prayer, today's shloka what we are discussing. West of that is Malyavan Parvat. You would have heard Malyavan Parvat, right? And because of Malyavan Parvat, the another Varsha created as Ketumala Varsha. North of that is Nila Parvat, and that Nila Parvat created Ramyaka Varsha. What are we discussing? Jambu Dvipa. Jambu Dvipa, the core of Jambu Dvipa is 11th Varsha. The middle of that is Sumero, and along that there are 4 mountains which creates on the eastern side is the Bhadrashvava, to the south is called Harivarsha, to the west it is called as Ketumala, and to the north it is called as Ramyaka Varsha. Then we'll go further north. Then north there is a Swet mountain which creates Hiranmay Varsha, north to that Sringavan mountain which creates a Uttara Kuru or Kuru Varsha. So this is are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Varshas. 11th Varsha, Bhadrashava Varsha, Hari Varsha, Ketumal Varsha, Ramyaka Varsha, Hiranmay Varsha and Uttara Kuru Varsha. Now we'll come down to south. There is a Hemakuta Parvat which creates Kim Purusha Varsha. And who stays in Kim Purusha? Hanumanji. And he prays to Prabhu Ramchandraji. So that is another prayers come in a Jambu Dvipa. And then there is a Himalaya. So this Himalaya is a bigger Himalaya mountain. What we could see could be just a fraction of that. And then below that is Bharata Varsha. And that is where we are all residing. So Bhumandala. Can somebody give a quick so far what we have discussed? Bhumandala. Leaf is Bhumandala.
And then 7 crops created.
7 crops created by
7
Maharaj.
island and 7 oceans created.
7 Dvipas and 7 oceans.
So middle of the Dvipa is Jambu Dvipa.
Jambu Dvipa.
So Jambu Dvipa 1 lakh Yojana. And then center of the Jambu Dvipa this Meru mountain is there.
And the Jambu Dvipa divided into 9 Varshas. And we are the south of Dakshina of Meru mountain. We are a Dakshina of Meru mountain. And then there is a Hari Varsha, Kim Purusha and all those things. So now, again, if you see from now, we'll go from south to the north. We'll go from south to the north and we'll calculate that how it is a 1 lakh Yojana. So each of these Varsha, their width is 9,000 Yojana. What is the width of that?
9,000 Yojana.
Multiply by 8, 72,000 miles. And multiply by 1.67 is
100, around 100.
and so that is the size of each of these Varsha. And this earthly planet is max 20,000 kilometers from one distance, one point to the farthest point. So this is Bharat Varsha 9. Then each mountain is 2. So if you start from the south, so how many Varshas are there in south? 3. Each one of them 9,000. 9,000, 9,000, 9,000. There are 3 mountains. 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. So 27 plus 6, 33. The middle portion, which is Ilavarat Varsha and all those things, they are together 34. And then again north, there are 3 Varshas, 9, 9, 9, 9. And then there are 3 mountains, 2, 2 each. So together, how much are they? 100,000. So that means 1 lakh Yojana. So 999, 222, 34, 999, 222. Deepika, total together 100,000. It's simple, right? It should be 100,000. And if you start from the east, Bhadrashava 31, then the middle Ilavra 34, and Ketumala 31, and in between 2 mountains and 2. So that again, Deepika, how much? 100,000. So it's a simple, it should be 100. So this Jambu Dvipa is a circle 100, this dimension 100,000. This is 1 lakh Yojana. So this is how the Jambu Dvipa is actually divided into the 9 Varshas, and one of the Varshas, where the southmost of that is called as Bharat Varsha.
Prabhuji, but since it is a circle, it should be increasing and decreasing. No? If 100 by 100 means a square.
Not necessary, no? Not necessary that it should be exactly. Diameter wise by 100 and
Diameter wise.
The circle means diameter wise. It's the farthest. If you see, the Ketumala Varsha to Bhadrashava is the middle. So when the diameter What is the diameter on the circle? We'll go to geometry. So is the farthest 2 point connecting in the straight line. That's the diameter. And in the Priyavrata, so there are again 9 in each of these khandas. There are the presiding deities, and there are residents, and these residents are worshipping these presiding deities, and they are offering the prayers. And this chapter is talking about those prayers. So if you see Ilavrat Varsha, which is the sons of Agnidra, which is Ilavrata, which is the middle, surrounded by the Sumera mountain, residing there is Lord Shiva, and the presiding deity is Sankarsana. So Lord Krishna, he is actually giving his mercy, to distribute his mercy to his devotee. He is actually present in various forms, in a deity form, to each of these Varsha, in each of these Varsha. So, and each one of these Varsha, there is a presiding deity, and then presided by the residents of that things, and they are offering the prayer. So Lord Shiva is offering prayer to Sankarsana, Bhadrashava is like this, Hari Varsha is the today's shloka, who is offering the, in the Hari Varsha, who is the presiding deity?
Narasimha.
And who is residing there? So the today's verse is that Prahlad Maharaj is offering prayer to Narasimha. So before this 18th chapter, earlier already Lord Shiva offered to Sankarsana, Bhadrashava offered to Hayashirsha or Hayagriva. And then finally in our Bharat Varsha, it is also called Adnyava or Bharat Varsha. In that it is surrounded by Himalayas, presided by Naradji, and offering prayer to Narayan Rishi. So this is the descriptions of the Jambu Dvipa, divided into 9 Varshas. Each of the Varshas presided by personality of Godhead, and then there is a residence and who is offering prayer to these things. Nishan Prabhu, clear? Some question marks.
I was thinking, Prabhuji, these 4 sampradayas we have, how is it connected to this?
Okay, any other questions? Anji, Varun Prabhu.
This we are, the whole accounts and geology, economic construction of the whole cosmology. Is it the same what is being described in the Vedas, or Vedas differ on this cosmology which is present in the Bhagavatam?
There are very good alignment from Bhagavatam, different Puranas, even Ramayanas, right? Ramayanas, Kim Purushas, right? So that is coming from here only. So there is a very much alignment. There could be some descriptions, that there could be small differences here and there, but yeah, alignment. But this is predominantly from Srimad Bhagavatam. Predominantly from the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Where is the sun and the moon?
So sun and moon is, now we are talking about this Bhumandala. Above the Bhumandala is a Rahu Ketu, then there is a sun, there is a moon, and then and then it will go to the Swargaloka to then we have top of that Dhruva Maharaj, then we have Maharaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. So that is another, sometimes we will see the vertical structure of that. This is the horizontal structure of this Bhumandala. So this is only Bhumandala.
The sun we see and the sun that you are seeing is the same. Is it same?
Because when it is said that the people have gone to moon, Prabhupada never accepted that. So probably some other tiny planets here and there, but not any offenses to the scientists, those who are working. But yes, they would have gone to somewhere, of course, without that. But our Chandra is actually farthest, even from sun, farthest from the sun, from this clock. We'll see that. You want to see that? I have image, I think. So there is a Surya Dev, then Rahu, Ketu, then 27 nakshatras, then Dhruva Maharaj planet, then Swargaloka, then Janaloka, Mahanloka, Tapaloka. Then this whole Brahmanda has a 7 coverings: earth, water, fire, ether. The next one is a 10 times bigger than the previous one. and then the last one is Mahatat, and beyond that the three coverings Sattva-guna, Rajaguna, and Tamoguna, and then beyond that is the spiritual. This is the only one universe, Kapilji.
What is this left side with these two mountains?
Loka mountain.
So this is the current sun, whatever is producing. There is no relation to scriptures. I mean, if we should correlate to scripture, this is moon, then this is the distance and all, but nowhere.
No, we see this is the sun, but the people, those who are going to moon or something, they may not be exactly to the planet which we are referring here. This is the same sun.
Okay, moon
Sun
is
is the
there.
same.
Yeah, because there is no dissipation of ignorance without Krishna's energy, right? Na tad bhasa iti surya na shashanka na pa. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is referring to the Surya and Chandra. So the same Surya and
So
Chandra.
downside lokas are not there, right?
So there are, you can see that Atala, Vitala, Patala, Sutala, that Bhumandala structure. Na?
Above Garbhodaksha.
Above
Not
Garbhodaksha.
within.
No, here.
नहीं वो ऊपर क्योंकि वो लग रहा है
Here.
वो भूमंडल का पार्ट लग रहा है
Ah, that is the Bhumandal part only.
So that should come down.
The part of the Bhumandala.
अतल वितल पाताल.
Yes. I mean, that's digging that, right? When the Sagar Maharaj, his sons actually, they were digging, so they were going to this Bhumandalas, lower portion.
थोड़ा कंफ्यूजन हो गया. So जब हम स्टेम कर रहे हैं जैसे इसमें so stem inside water is patal or
No. Garbhodaksha ocean, there is nothing there.
nothing there.
No, everything is above the ocean.
Okay, so these 7 hellish lokas are part of
They are not the hellish things.
Are not hellish.
Atala, Vitala, Patala, Sutala, they are called as below Sarga. So they are also heavenly planets, but the subterranean
They are
planet,
also heavenly.
heavenly planet. And below that, towards the hood of Ananta Sesha, there are 28 hellish planets.
हाँ वो
They are within the Bhumandala's lower portion of that.
अच्छा only भूमंडल
Yeah.
only.
Yes. Because below that is all Garbhodaksha ocean.
The other question,
Prabhuji, the right way.
where is Garbhodaksha Vishnu line?
It is shown there, no? Bottom of that. So what we are saying is that everything is coming from, where is that picture? So this is now what we are saying is only one universe, and there are unlimited universes where Mahavishnu is actually lying there. And from him it is the Garbhodaksha Vishnu who is actually in one of the place where in that this whole one universe is actually coming there.
The question was like, Garbhodaksha ocean, Vishnu is lying there. So when earth was thrown by Hiranyaksha, then why that is called dirty water? Because Mahadev came in that form to lift the earth planet. So how come that water be dirty? Vishnu is lying there.
I do not know the exact details in this particular context now.
Dirty means what? Dirty.
Dirty cannot actually happen, but it's just dirtiness is because of the touch by the Asuras. But what is that can touch Asuras when the Lord Krishna is present there? So then the question comes, if that is the case, then how we are in when the Lord is within that, and how can we have that? Because
Probably one
Can we go
technical
for-
question. In Garbhodaksha ocean, Vishnuji is sitting. So Shreshna hood, on that only everything is.
Yes, exactly.
Resting.
Yeah.
Resting. That is
Vertical, can you go one second? Vertical.
the prayers, today's we are supposed to discuss about the prayers.
We have some next.
Yes,
Problem is probably all of us are engineers here.
Like these questions comes from many times.
Yeah.
We don't know.
So what is the question, bro?
So the Patal is also there, right? Patal is
The
there.
hellish planets, there are 28 hellish planets. There's just above that, if you see that, what is written there?
28 hellish planets.
Those are the things.
But Patal is also not hellish.
No, so Atala, Vitala, Patala is one of the 7 subterranean planets, and below that is the hellish planet.
And where is the Swarga is? Swarga is
Swarga, no, there are 3 types of Swarga. One is the real Swarga, above that you can see somewhere Swarga.
I think Prabhuji,
There is some Swarga about the Dhruva planet. You can refer some Swarga there. Is visible? Okay, so the real there is one Swarga there. Mrityunjay Prabhu, थोड़ा सा देखिए. there is one Swarga, which is the Bhuva Swaha, right? The Swarga Loka there. And then on this earthly planet, what are the other khandas that we are not, varshas we are not able to see, that also called as the earthly, or they called as a Bhome Swarga. And below that we have below Sarga, which are the 7 planets, and below that is the 28th hellish planet.
I think Mrityunjay Prabhuji and TOVP will get this TTV, we cannot
And Shiva Prabhu.
TOP में तो हर समय तो क्लासेस चलती रहेगी वो तभी समझ पाएंगे।
Yes, Prabhu.
So Prabhuji, when we hear about Jambudvipa, Jambudvip has like many khandas and versions, and that is something that very closely relates to how we understand Earth today.
Yes.
So is there, also obviously like science is still catching up with us, because of imperfect senses. But from whatever we understand so far, is there a matching between like all the parvats and areas that are mentioned in Jambudvipa, different khandas and varshas? So what we see today in our geography?
So there is one important point that we need to understand, is that something we can see from our senses, and that is where the scientists can able to correlate that. There are something which the naked senses cannot perceive that. So today whatever they are able to see is only the some portion of that. Beyond that they cannot able to see that. Now how do we understand that? So the elements remain the same: earth, water, fire, air, ether. Then how is that some of them we are able to see, some of them we are not able to see? So the analogy is given just like a water. So water in a liquid form, in a solid we can hold it, right? Water in the liquid form we need to have a container. Water into the gaseous form we cannot. So it is the same composition, but the manifestation and the how we perceive that is different. So we will not be able to. So similarly, even though these are elements are made of 5, all these constitutes from the 5 elements, still the scientists are some things we cannot able to perceive this portion. There is one slide here actually that means, is that something which is beyond that? How do we believe that? The question is that we have to believe only the scriptural references. And how do we know it is the scriptural references are right? Because the scriptural references are talking about the Kim Purusha, because the pastime is talking about that. So when the pastime is connecting to the Kim Purusha, when Yudhishthir Maharaj is talking about the Jambudvipa, then we connect to this description. So that is how we have a reference of the scripture. But scientists will not be able to research all these topics because they cannot be seen or with the naked instruments or the vision.
So Prabhu, like this Hanumanji is reciting deity there, so that is still there, right?
Here, they are very close to the earth, cannot be seen because they are subtle onto our vision. They are all reserved for the pure pious beings. Second thing, only with the required purification or by attainment by mystic siddhis, all these places can become visible to one's eyes. Otherwise, they are agatam. They are not accessible. Then how do you accept their existence? Only through the scriptural references. And then because the pastime is talking about this location, and that is how we are able to correlate that. Yes, Mrityunjay Prabhu, sorry, you are saying something.
So, like this Kim Purusha is there, Bharat Varsha. So, in that Hanumanji is the recited deity. So, he is still there, something. He's there only, right?
The prayers are going. So, these prayers are given by Sukadeva Goswami at the beginning of this, right?
So, Hanumanji is a Chiranjeevi.
Yes.
He's Chiranjeevi. So, most probably he's residing there only, right?
He's reciting, and he will also come to our earthly planet when we are discussing about Prabhu Ramchandra's pastime. Because they have ability to go to the different things. Now, this Bharat Varsha, there is a portion called as Bharat Khanda, and about the other portion itself is not visible to us. Forget about the other things. If you see here,
Bharat Khanda.
The Bharat Khanda is what? There are other things which is not. The Bharat Varsha is divided into another Khandas, and then Bharat Khanda is what visible to our naked eyes. And only on this Bharat Varsha there is a karma, there is action and reactions. Not any other place there is action, and karma is only on this Bharat Varsha, and specifically to the Bharat Khanda where we all are there. Yes, you had some question, bro. Yes, bro.
That Hiranakesha, the demon Hiranakesha, just thrown away the earth to somewhere. But how it is that I could not overread it.
The earth means is what?
I don't
This
know.
Bhumandala.
Yes,
This Bhumandala region going to the door to the Garbhodakshaya ocean.
like this is the
No, it was.
The earth is a small portion of Bhumandala.
This is small.
The Bhumandala is a spherical.
Yeah, I understand it could be complete Bhumandala. The earth, what we are understanding, is the tiny portion of that.
Speck.
Yeah, is a tiny portion of
Earth is the
that.
tiny
So when
portion.
Bhagavatam is talking, he's talking about the whole, the Bhumandala, and within that all the Atala, Patala, Vitala, Sutala, because the whole portion is about the Garbhodakshaya ocean.
So he threw whole Bhumandala or
Yeah.
earth only?
The Bhumandala.
You.
Yeah,
Bhumandala
Bhumandala.
itself is.
Because the earth is what visible to our eyes.
The problem is that Vishnu Bala, they are holding planet Earth in the pictures in the internet.
Because
That is misleading.
misleading in a sense, because we can understand what we are able to see that.
Yeah, because that cannot be explained. Bhumandala.
Yeah. So then what is visible, what is understandable by is that, okay, this earth is a sphere, then you show that picture only. See, this analogy is given, the material analogy is just given to understand the aspect from our vision. But,
God's,
yeah. Yes, Mataji.
Here on the earth, all portions are filled with salt. And mandala, and in the last one. No, the previous one.
Yes.
Yeah. So we are surrounded by salt ocean.
Yes.
And Jambudvipa is surrounded by salt ocean. And on earth also we see salt ocean water.
Yes, right.
So is it something like earth is on the edge of the Jambudvipa or something?
Age or something, because some portions are visible to us. Now the Bharat Varsha is the southern portion of what the Jambudvipa is, right? So what we are saying is only one portion of that. Now whether it's a tip or something, that is not mentioned in here. So it will be difficult to speculate that.
And one more question, sir. Gravitational force they say. So how to match that?
How to match means is a 9.81 meter per second.
They say, I mean, when they send rockets, we should cross the
Escape velocity. With the escape velocity.
escape velocity. So, how to see that in Shastra?
What is the difficulty? Because this whole material things, material world is working, there are laws. There are some material laws out there. So if you drop these things, there is some gravity. We are calling as gravity, but that's an energy which actually pulls down that. And there are some rules are associated with that. The scientists are trying to correlate. So it doesn't mean that before who was the person who was sitting the tree that he got that? Before the Newton G, there was no gravitation. It was there. He just discovered that, and then he said, okay, the force with which if you leave the object there, it comes down, that it comes with the acceleration called 9.81 meter per second square. So these are rules, because the whole material world, just like that, when we put our finger on the fire, it will burn. It doesn't see whether you are small or things, because there is a rule. Right? Just like when we drive with these things and you stop that, there is a inertia, you will actually go and hit someone. So these are the rules. The material world driven by some rules and regulations which are part of the material world, and we are discovering that. So it is already there. It doesn't mean that before Newton G there was nothing.
So in remaining because also we will have this gravitation.
Possibly with a different G value. It's a speculation again. But let's not give any room for, because Bhagavatam doesn't talk about that. So, but we can speculate outside of the scripture.
And one more question, sir. You mentioned in remaining we won't be having karma constant.
Yes.
In them. But in Bhagavad Gita we hear that after completion of pious activities they will come in the form of rain from Swarga.
So now from that actual Swarga, they will come to this Bhuswarga, and then they come. So there are the Swargas here also. There are Swargas also on this. And those other Khandas or other Varshas where the people are living, they are much pious. Actually, it is mentioned here. They are much pious, and the description is also very beautiful there. It is all lakes, there are trees, there are flowers, there are beautiful portions. And only those people whose credit is not completely finished, they came from there, they are still enjoying, and from there they will come to this Bharat Varsha.
So that means karma should be there.
No, it is like because those portion is like Srila Prabhupada gives an example like when you work for 26 days, you get a credit of 4 days, right? So the 4 days you do not work, but you still get the salary.
Yes.
So similarly, so when we have acquired some pious credit, so you go and enjoy there. Khine punne marte lok vishanti. Then you come down, then you stay here, and then you become part of this Bharat Varsha.
Then karma should act.
No, there no karma. No, why it should not?
Means pious activity again.
They are just consuming the pious activity. They are consuming the pious results of their pious activity. Like for example, when you go to the holiday, you have earned some 6 days or 10 days of leave. Are you working there? Are you getting money for that? Why? Because you already acquired those leaves because of the previously working for 25 days, you get the holiday for that. So similarly, you acquire the karma here, you go there, enjoy Madi and come back. Now, you will say, how is that without working? Just like on the holiday, you don't work, you still get salary. So like this, you can understand. Hanji Mataji.
Prabhuji, you told below the earth there are 7 planets which are not hellish. So, and below that 28
Hellish planets.
hellish. So, those are below Garbhadarsha Vishnu or.
No. Above the Garbhadarsha, everything is above Garbhadarsha.
Okay. So, when we are told that for the sinful works we go to hellish planets, those are 28.
28 hellish planets.
And these 7 Atalvita and Sutal, these are more, life is more good there as
Yeah. But the here we are more on the gross and subtle. Above is more subtle and below is more gross. And so they are also the people enjoying. And one of great Acharya is there. And our Lord is there. Vaman.
So means we transmigrate from earth to those 7 also, those 28 and above.
The transmigration talks about in terms of the species, not in terms of the location. In terms of the species and in terms of the location it mentioned. Okay, so actually, yes, ma'am.
Actual prayer is.
Actual prayer is left. But anyway, now we will not go to the prayer. But I just wanted to that, Hanji Prabhu, you came all the way, I should answer your question possibly.
We are talking about the universe is part of material system. But the human is part of the material planetary system. So as you mentioned, in only Bharata Varsha there is karma. There are residents in other Varshas also.
Yes.
So how this jivas are different from the jivas in the spiritual world?
The same and how they are different from the spiritual world. Spiritual world is a liberated soul. These are, they are still working, but only 4 days they are enjoying there. So 20, they have to again come back when the salary is over. They have to come back and then again, and they are not liberated. They have desire to enjoy. So they are still contaminated with the material desire. Temporarily they are out of office. Exactly. In fact, the Devatas, here in Devatas, when it comes to the Bharat Varsha, they are praying Devatas that we should get opportunity to take birth on the Bharat Varsha, because here we get opportunity to go beyond the universal, the Brahmanda and covering and all things. So yes, we have to come back to the here and work again.
So in that vertical diagram, it was only Brahman, not above Brahman was not mentioned.
So there are 7 layers, and then there are unlimited universes, and then beyond that is the spiritual world. Okay, so what we have to give, have you heard about the Sankalpa Mantra? Sankalpa Mantra, Prabhu? Hanji, time, yes. Sankalpa Mantra. Have you heard the Sankalpa Mantra? So before we do any auspicious or ceremony or sanskara, so that we pray to the controlling deities, and how the sages know that. So here, Hare Krishna, last minute we will stop here. Have you heard the Sankalpa Mantra?
Yes.
Adya Brahmana Dvitiya Parate Sveta Varha Kalpe Vaivasvata Manvantare Ashtavinsati Tame Kali Yuga Prathame Pade. They talk about the location. Jambu Dvipe Bharat Varshe Bharat Khande Meru Dakshine Parve Godavari Dakshine Dire Mama Bhakti Center Grahe Asmin Vartmane व्यवहारिके प्रभाति षष्ठी संवत्सरे मध्ये पिंगला नाम संवत्सरे उत्तर आयने शिशिर ऋतु माघ मासे कृष्ण पक्षे चतुर्थे रविवार वासर. So this all, so the middle portion is what is the location? The middle portion is what? And what is that location? Jambu Dvipa, Bharatvarsha, Bharat Khanda, south of Meru, and again the Dakshin of Mother Godavari. So if you go to Varanasi or something, then you will say Ganga. Or maybe Godavari, Uttarakhand, Godavari or whatever. And then today is Uttarayan, because 14th of January, Sankrati, Surya Devji started in Uttarayana. So this is the mantra that is recited, that's called as Sankalpa mantra. So just wanted to give that, how it is connected to, this all Vedic mantra is connected to our cosmology.
Godavari river, Ganga river should be there, no?
Ganga is more northern side, so we will divide all those things. Godavari is mentioned. So Gange che Mune che Godavari. Godavari is also one of the sacred rivers, so it is still Ganga.
All those past things like Vara, so many avatars we are seeing in our holy places. So because this is so huge, how to imagine everything is related to our person?
Because Sukadeva Goswami is talking in particular to these things, so it is for us only on this kind of concern. So, I mean, the bottom line is that we cannot understand this. But to some degree, we are trying to understand that. Next time somebody says Jambu Dvipe, Bharatvarsha, Bharat Khande, Meru Parvata Dakshine, Godavari Tire Dakshine. So we know now what he's talking about is the Google location. Google map of that location is talking about that. And then the next is actually time. The next is the time. So that is the vertical descriptions of that. We will see that how the nakshatras and all those things sometimes. So we have to pause here. So the point here is that, I mean, it's very difficult to understand, perceive that, and to even go deep into that. But at least if we know that there is a Jambu Dvipa, there is a Bharatvarsha, there is a Bharat Khanda, and it's divided into seven Dvipas in 9 verses. 9 verses is what? Bharatvarsha, and that is the only place where there is a karma. And if we really just take this as a takeaway, I think our whole discussion has some fruitfulness. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. But we didn't even discuss about the prayer of this. So what was the prayer? Who prayed that?